Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program video with me, Oofle Spoofle, and we're going to start off today's episode of Modded Career by spending some of the science points that we got in the last video. And the main thing I wanted to get from this was some new rocketry technology and some new probe technology, as you can see right here. And hopefully we can put them to good use by putting our first satellite in orbit of Kerbal. Now, as you can see, I'm also researching some of these RCS parts because control, when it comes to early game with this tech tree, control's a big problem. It's not something you have a lot of because, you know, I don't have any probes with reaction wheels. I don't have any reaction wheels whatsoever. So we're going to have to rely only on engine gimbaling and RCS to control our rockets. So as you can see here, we can begin the construction of our first vessel for today. And I'm going with the QB probe because there is no way I'm using the Sputnik, like, again. It's just, like, it doesn't even have SAS. It's just useless. If you have something better, just don't use it. But I'm also putting a antenna, some basic experiments, and some solar panels. So, you know, nothing fancy here. We just want a nice light payload that we can put in orbit. And, yeah, so for this rocket, I tried to, you know, add as much control as possible. I am limited by the 40 part limit that I have in my VAB at the moment. Once I upgrade it, that won't be a problem, but for now, I am, of course, limited to 40 parts. So I couldn't add as many RCS thrusters as I want, because keep in mind, these are really, really weak RCS thrusters. I know they have, like, you know, quite big nozzles. They look powerful, but remember, this is a 0.625 meter diameter rocket, so, you know, they're really small thrusters, and I think they have a thruster power of 0.5. I can't remember, like, what to compare that to, but trust me, that's really, really bad. So, yeah, as you can see, this thing is not aerodynamically stable. It spun out as soon as I tried to start turning it, so, yeah, I did try to get it back under control, but, yeah, there's no hope, really. We're not going to be getting this thing back, so, you know, that's about 7,000 funds down the drain or something like that, but the show must go on. So here we are. I've modified the rocket quite a lot, and I've just gone with the one big SRB rather than 3 little ones. And I've also gone with the bigger fins just to keep it more aerodynamically stable, and I think that worked. In fact, it worked a little too well, because I found it really, I mean, I was holding D here, and I could, like, not do that gravity turn. So, yeah, I mean, this SRB can also gimbal, so, yeah, not the most efficient launch. This might be, like, the single least efficient way to launch, but we still actually have more than enough delta V in this upper stage, so, spoiler alert, we are able to get this thing into orbit, and in fact, we had far more than enough. In fact, like, look at the bottom left, you can see, right here, the ArcAerospace managed to get up to 337 kilometers, which is actually really good, because that means we can get science from space high above Kerbal, which we may have gotten in the last episode, but not with all of my experiments. So, you know, great to get that extra science, but after a bit of time warping to make sure we do have all of the science available, we can go ahead and move to the next mission. So I did decide to accept this contract to fly by the Mun, and also gather a bit of science from the Mun. It's not what we're going to be doing in this mission, but, you know, it's great to have those advanced funds. And here we are. Here is our third launch of the video. And it's pretty much the same rocket as before. It might be the exact same, or maybe I made the SRB a little larger. In fact, no, I do have different fins. But as you can see, we are heading in a completely different direction than what we did last time. And that's because we're putting this thing into a polar orbit. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. One of the experiments on board is the MITE experiment, which comes with Kerbalism, and that only works if you're in a high inclination orbit. I think it has to be 70 to 120 degrees for it to work, so yeah, polar orbit helps with that, but it's also biome specific while in space low, so putting this into a polar orbit actually gives me access to every biome on Kerbal, so that means we'll be able to squeeze as much science as we possibly can out of this mission. And in fact, I'll also be putting my ArcAerospace into space high like I did with last mission. And that means I can get that extra, like, 3 science points, I think, with this experiment. But as you can see, just time warping to make sure I collect all the science possible. It did take a while to make sure I got all the biomes. But what I also decided to do was, once I had all the science from Space High, I decided to lower my apoapsis just so that I wouldn't be wasting time in a part of space where I had already gotten the science from. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right here. Just, it didn't take much to lower it. I didn't have to lower it that much, in fact, but yeah. And we can also go ahead and deploy the satellite. I didn't really have to detach it. I just think it looks a bit cooler if I do. But anyway, this mission is going to be something a little bit different, because we are going farther than nothing has ever been. And the original plan for this was to fly by the Mun and Minmus. And but as you'll see later in the video, that, you know, I had a bit of a last second change of plan, and not going to spoil anything, but just make sure you stay tuned for that. So yeah, I went with a slightly different design for this probe. Instead, I put the solar panels on this kind of kick stage thing. And yeah, this thing does need a little bit of extra delta V, so that's why we have that stage with the 2 spider engines there. Because obviously, you know, you need some fuel to get it out to the Mun. So here we are. I've modified the rocket a little bit. As you can see, the SRB is slightly longer than before, and I've also increased the thrust. So that should help kick the slightly heavier payload into orbit. So, you know, we're going for an equatorial orbit this time, just because, you know, that's where the Mun is. So, yeah, as you can see, I did the gravity turn far, far better this time, so the launch was much more efficient. You know, the top stage is not very aerodynamic, so in the lower parts of the atmosphere, if it does get deployed, then it might want to flip over, but as you can see, we were just fine here. So anyway, here we are doing our circularization, and now there is a lot of maneuver node planning that I have cut out. I mean, it's not that much. It was like 5 minutes of playing around with maneuver nodes, just trying to fine-tune that Mun-Minmus gravity assist. You know, you can basically get a Minmus flyby for free from a Mun flyby. It just takes a bit of extra, you know, flight planning to be able to do that. But the science rewards are absolutely huge from that, so it was definitely worth it, in my opinion. So here we are, just... Actually, that's not the circularization. That is the Trans-Mun injection burn. And as you can see, went with a pretty low periapsis there, but I did get kind of unlucky with this Mun flyby because it got eclipsed by Kerbal right as I flew by it, so you don't get any cinematic shots. You just get a black screen and a reflection of your face in your phone or whatever it is you are watching this video on. But yeah, I was kind of annoyed about that because I was ready to mash that F1 key as I flew past, but no such luck. But anyway, this Mun flyby does put us on a trajectory that intersects Minmus after a short correction burn. So here we are, and I noticed that I had over 1 kilometer per second of delta V left, so, you know, I couldn't resist putting myself in orbit of Minmus and then going for a landing, because it takes hardly any delta V to do that. So, I mean, I just couldn't pass on that opportunity, really. You know, it's free science at this point, so yeah, I decided to land at this flat area here. No real reason for that. I guess it's easy to land on flats because, you know, it's flat. But here we are. It's not the most efficient landing just because I am playing without quick loading, so I did need to make sure, you know, I was playing this safe. I didn't want to mess up this landing because I also wanted to go biome hopping for a bit, like after this. So I made sure that I actually kept my engine stage in case I wanted to do that. So yeah, here we are coming into land. Bit of a rough landing, but it's nothing that the bottom tank can't handle. And there we go. A mission that was originally meant to just fly by Minmus has now landed on the surface with over 400 meters per second of delta V to spare, in fact. So we can go ahead and fly ourselves over to this biome here, which I believe is the lowlands. That would make sense. It's some lands which are pretty low, so yeah. And all of the experiments I have on board this probe are biome specific when landed, so, you know, we are getting a good amount of science for every biome we land in. So yeah, I was not very efficient with that biome hop, nor was I with any of the upcoming biome hops, so yeah, I probably could have got an extra biome in if I was slightly more efficient, but I decided to fly up to this hill here, and we did, of course, get another biome. This was the slopes biome this time. So yeah, same old landing technique here. I managed to land this one a lot better. I actually managed to land it upright, which is pretty helpful, but it's not like it matters that much. On Minmus, the gravity is so low that you can literally just get yourself spinning, and, you know, you can... It's really easy to get off the ground, but... Hang on, did I land this one upright? I think I did. Maybe I didn't. Okay, whatever. Maybe the next one I did. I'm struggling to remember. But, anyway, so as you can see, we're going 60 meters per second, and we only have 46 meters per second of delta V left, so yeah, you can probably guess what's going to happen. We are out of fuel, and yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie, the probe kind of did stick the landing pretty well. We only lost maybe a couple batteries and solar panels. I'm not exactly sure. Oh yeah, we lost an engine too, but oh well. This is also not another biome, so no science for that, but that is going to do it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and join my Discord, all of that good generic YouTube stuff. And, but yeah, thanks so much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, have a great rest of your day.